In another video, we demonstrated how to create a Mac or Windows desktop application from a folder of HTML files. In this video, we'll show how you can create an Android application. So we're looking at our folder of files, and you can see the main HTML file presents what looks like an application. In this application, we have a series of questions that the user can answer and flip through. In a previous video, we used DocProtect to generate a Mac or Windows desktop application. We're going to use the same record of information to generate our Android application. The only bit of information that's significant here is the path to our HTML file. So it knows to take that file and all other files and folders within the folder holding that file and wrap that into our Android application. We have to set up a couple other bits of information. On the options screen, we have to go to the Safe Web App panel and set up some information. This information isn't specifically used for the Android application we're generating, but it needs to be set up because DocProtect is also used to generate other types of things like web-based applications. So we just simply need to select an image, which we'll do this by just selecting this JPEG file, and we need to set a couple targets. If we go back now to our main screen and click the mobile button, we're going to pick an icon file or an image file to use as the icon for our Android application. So we're going to just pick this JPEG file. We're not going to apply any licensing to this application at the moment. We'll do that later in the video. But we do have to select an output location for our generated Android project. So we're going to pick our output folder. And now we're ready to go ahead and generate our Android project folder. In our output folder, we see there is an Android project folder that was generated. And we're going to now turn that into an APK file. We're going to be doing that using Android Studio. We've installed Android Studio on this Mac computer. You can be doing the same thing on Windows. And we're going to open an existing Android project. We'll do that by clicking the button, locating our file. So our file is right here. And let's click open. And now it's opening up the Android project into Android Studio. And when you first open, it will take a few minutes to go through and get everything opened and rebuild your Gradle stuff and all that. Once everything is ready, we're not going to make any changes at all. All we're going to do is we're going to choose Build, Generate Signed APK, and it's going to take us through a series of screens. We're going to choose APK. We're going to have to create a key store for code signing this generated application. We've already done that by clicking that new. So let's just pick the existing one we've already created. And we'll have to locate that file, which is here. And we'll have to put in a bit of information. And that information gets set up when you create a key store from scratch using this button. We'll go to the next screen. We're going to build a release, signature version v1, and we're going to click Finish. And now it's in the process of building our Android APK file. And it's finished. If we go back to our Android project folder, and inside there we'll see an app folder, a release folder, and here's our generated APK. This can be renamed to whatever we want, and then we can upload it to our website. Now anybody can download it to their Android device and start using our app. For the purpose of this video, however, we're going to use Android Studio and actually run our app within the simulator. So we can see we have various devices, Android devices that we can simulate here. And if we just start running the app, it's going to load up our application, and you can see it worked pretty much the same way it did before we've actually even wrapped it up into an app. If you plan to sell your Android application, you can set up a serial number activation process with the Safe Activation Service 3 account. There's a PDF with details and instructions on how to set up the process, but we'll just outline the key points in this video. So you're going to have one product edit page that kind of controls the activation process. It's going to require serial numbers, and we've already pre-generated a batch of serial numbers here, and we've also set up an activation form that controls the activation process. If we look at our batch of serial numbers here, any one of these serial numbers can be given to a customer to activate your Android application on their device. And for the purpose of testing, we've created a serial number just called test, so it's easy to enter as we go through the testing process here. So we're going to go back to DocProtect and set up a few bits of information on this mobile screen by setting up that we want a product license. We're going to have to enter our vendor ID into this field. It actually consists of two bits of information: the DB number of our Safe Activation account, a dash, and then our 8-digit vendor ID assigned to our account. We need to enter a ticket code field and the product number that we set up in Safe Activation to handle this process, and then set the fields of information that we're collecting during the activation process. Once we have all those bits of information set up, we'll go ahead and regenerate our Android application. This actually gives you an outline of the setup process. And then we're going to replace the existing project that we had set up before. And now we have our new Android application that we're ready to build with Android Studio. We've reopened our project into Android Studio, and we could build the APK file like we did before, but in this video we're just going to run it in the simulator. So we'll click the button into the simulator, and you can see this time it's presenting an activation screen. So the user is going to have to enter a serial number that you provide to them during the purchase process, and some other information that you want to collect in the screen. And when they click Activate Now, your application will be communicating out with the activation server and activate the application to their device. That takes a moment or so, and then they can click Start, and now your application is up and running.